Book of the Prophet Ezekiel, chapter 10. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them, as it were, a sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne. Okay, this is a vision. And he spake unto the man clothed with linen, and said, Go in between the wheels, even under the cherub, and fill thine hand with the coals of fire from between the cherubims, and scatter them over the city. And he went in my sight. Now the cherubim stood on the right side of the house when the man went in, and the cloud filled the inner court. Then the glory of the Lord went up from the cherub and stood over the threshold of the house. And the house was filled with the cloud, and the court was full of the brightness of the Lord's glory. And the sound of the cherubim's wings was heard even to the outer court, as the voice of the Almighty God, when he speaketh. And it came to pass that when he had commanded the man clothed with linen, saying, Take fire from between the wheels, from between the cherubims, that then from between the cherubims, then he went in and stood beside the wheels, and one cherub stretched forth his hand from between the cherubims unto the fire that was between the cherubims, and took thereof, and put it into the hands of him that was clothed with linen, who took it, and went out. And there appeared in the cherubims the form of a man's hand under their wings. Here we go again with the hand. Oh, I don't know. This is a man's hand, though. It's not these hands we keep coming out of this nowhere. When I looked, behold, the four wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherub, and another wheel by another cherub, and the appearance of the wheels was as the color of a beryl stone. And as for their appearances, they four had one likeness, as if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. Oh, so these are the gyroscope eyeball cherubims. These are not the four winged cherubims, but wait, it did say they have wings. It just sounded the cherubim's wings. So they do have wings. It is in some gyroscope pattern. A wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. When they went upon their four sides. They turned not as they went, but to the place whither the head looked. They followed it. They turned not as they went. That was like these other angels he's talking about. They don't turn. They just go forward. And their whole body, and their backs, and their hands, and their wings, and the wheels were full of eyes round about, even the wheels that they four had. As for the wheels, it was cried unto them in my hearing, O wheel. And every one had four faces. The first face was the face of a cherub, the second face was the face of a man, and the third the face of a lion, and the fourth the face of an eagle. And the cherubims were lifted up. This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Chebar. So he's seeing things. It's a vision. Yeah, well, he need to make that a little more clear in chapter 4 if it's a vision or what that is. This is just too wild, this whole thing. And when the cherubims went, the wheels went by them. And when the cherubims lifted up their wings to mount up from the earth, the same wheels also turned not from beside them. When they stood, these stood. And when they were lifted up, these lifted up themselves also, for the spirit of the living creature was in them. Then the glory of the Lord departed from off the threshold of the house and stood over the cherubims. And the cherubims lifted up their wings and mounted up from the earth in my sight. When they went out, the wheels also were beside them, and everyone stood at the door of the east gate of the Lord's house. And the glory of the Lord of Israel was over them above. This is the living creature that I saw under the God of Israel by the river of Chebar. And I knew that they were the cherubims. Well, how did he know that? First of all, we keep hearing about seraphims, right? And is that originally what Satan was? A seraph? A six-winged creature? These cherubims have 4 wings. This guy Ezekiel isn't seeing how many wings these 4 creatures have. There are 4 of them. Okay? I don't know. Wait. I don't know how many there are. But there are cherubims and wheels. I don't know how he has come to that conclusion. That they're angels, but clearly they're angels of God because he saw them over the temple. So what are they doing there? Is that like what really happens like on the daily? Like all day long? Are they like the ones that come down and kind of do reports? Like, where's this guy with his inkhorn? He spoke unto the man clothed with linen. It's the guy with the linen and the inkhorn. He is watching, go between. He's some kind of reporter. So it sounds like he's doing God's work. So they're doing some kind of reporting on the tabernacle or some kind of, well, yeah, reporting, but they're doing some work on it. And maybe he's seeing like what really happens on the daily. Like he sends this guy in linen down to make reports about everything that was being sacrificed before all this broke loose for all these abominations and stuff that are going on now. And or maybe he's just watching him clean it up. Everyone had 4 faces apiece, and everyone had 4 wings, and the likeness of the hands of a man was under their wings. And the likeness of their faces was the same faces which I saw by the river of Kabar, their appearances in themselves. They went every one straight forward. Well, where'd this guy go? Where'd this guy with the inkhorn go?